I am pissed off. Low-key at the fact that I just realized what I realized, but also at the fact that I was even mad at myself for not knowing this beforehand. Like, it just seems so clear to me now. I feel like I'm just, like, sitting with myself and, like, shaming myself every time for feeling bad that I don't have anyone, or like I'm alone. I keep feeling like I need to beat up on myself about it. And I feel like everything I've been consuming around me makes me feel the exact same way. Can you come inside? Can you come inside? I want to do something. Can you come sit? Come here, come sit. Come here. Come here. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any more food. I ate everything. I ate everything. I give you one. I give you one. I give you one. I have to keep giving you pets. I have to keep giving you pet friends. I just want to make my video. Yeah, you. Oh. Okay, that was it. All right. Okay. Okay. You know, that made me feel a whole lot better. Sometimes little things like that catch me off guard. Catch me by surprise, because I'm just like, kind of forget the good things about life sometimes. Even just like those little moments. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nakara. I'm on the floor again. This is the setup for today. I hope it looks okay. I thought it looked alright. My couch looks tiny as hell, but it's pretty colors, so did I say welcome back to Grayscale? Welcome back to Grayscale. I've been feeling kind of shitty for the last couple of weeks. Really trying to work through stuff at my own pace. It's been kind of hard. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've never thought of it that way, but I feel like I need to give sober people credit. Like, how do you do being sober? I really have never understood it before. But that shit takes work, dude. In this day and age, in this climate, to, like, not want to, like, do something, be on something, wild. And, to a certain extent, like, everybody has, like, a drug or a vice or an addiction. It's really hard to not, like, have something to just keep you going. But, I decided I was gonna try out sobriety for about a month. It wasn't, like, totally planned. I've been trying to, like, wean myself off of weed for a while now. I knew that I didn't like smoking every 5 days or so. I wanted to try doing it like every once a week kind of thing. And then naturally, as that just happened, like I was able to hit 2 weeks, and that was a pretty big deal for me, because for the last not even two, for like the last 4 years, weed has been a really big part of my life, and I was really smoking pretty consistently. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I was smoking a lot back during the pandemic and like when quarantine was enabled and stuff. When I came home from college for like 8 months at least, like I was just almost every day, pretty much every day, just smoking weed. Because I was like, I've never done it before. I like how it feels. Like, we have nothing to do. The world's going to hell. We might as well just smoke up. And then like from like 2021 to 2022 was pretty constant. I can't say for sure if it was every day. I can't remember at this point, but it was pretty constant. Like, I was pretty much high for most of my year. A lot of it to do with my anxiety. It became a really bad habit where every time I would just get anxious, I would just smoke up. And, in the beginning stages, it was like helping, and in a certain way, because I do feel that weed and other plant medicines really do. This is my philosophy on those. I don't know if anybody else will agree or this is not a new thought, but I always feel like if you feel anxious on weed, or if you feel like anything negative kind of come up, it's really just the plant telling you what's up with you. And like it's bringing all that shit that we're trying to sweep under the rug, keep below the surface. Like it's bringing it up to your awareness to like let you know like what's upsetting you. And for me personally, back when I was smoking a lot, like 2020, 2021, that's what I realized. Like being at home, it was teaching me and showing me all the different ways that I would feel really anxious about stuff that I never knew I'd felt anxious about before, or like it was providing me context, you know? And it's honestly, now that I'm saying it, like it really did help in that way where like I didn't even realize how much anxiety I had as a person. Like I literally did. For like most of my life, I kind of thought everybody kind of just like lived that way. I never really thought that like I could give that feeling a name, or like I could say I had anxiety. I was always just someone who was so on edge and so tense all of the time that it literally just felt like that was who I was. And I never realized that it was anxiety that was like just train wrecking my life, really. And so through smoking weed and like that early journey that I was going on, like it really helped me identify the fact that like, yeah, I actually have anxiety. Which is crazy because I had like a therapist like 3 or 4 years before I really started smoking weed that like told me I had generalized anxiety disorder. But like I don't know why it didn't click. It didn't click for me. I was like, she's probably wrong. Like it's just depression. Like I definitely want to like off myself so much more than I feel anxious. And she was definitely on the money with something. Like that anxiety is really killing me. It's wow. But yeah, that was that was me. Shoot, I forgot. I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay. I was being, or I was facing, I was coming to terms with a lot of the anxiety that I had, or having a lot of realizations about it, which weed was really helping with. Back in 2020, again, 2021-ish. 2022, like there were times in there where like I really wanted to change my lifestyle and I didn't really want to smoke weed all the time, or I wanted to be able to give it more of a break than I had been. But there were like certain things going on in my life that were really triggering for me. Like my mom got sick a few times and she had to go to the hospital. Like there were legitimate times where she was coughing up blood, and it was just so unexpected because like she's always been someone who tries to take care of herself, and like she just like, I don't know, I always felt like she would eat really well. Like she would make sure she was getting all her vegetables in, she would stay really hydrated, she was always really active. Like I just never saw her as someone who could like get sick, or as someone who would just like cough up blood like that out of nowhere. So that was like really scary and damaging in a way, because I was like terrified that like she was just gonna go. And so I was like leaning and depending on weed to be there for me in those times, because I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't like how do I, this is like a recurring theme in my life. I really want to like phrase it in a way that people understand exactly how hard it is for me to like live with this, because it's like it's a sad belief, to be honest. I always feel like I can't believe in good things because I feel like if I believe in them I jinx them. And like the second I legitimately believe something good is going to happen for me, I feel like that's the moment that like everything turns upside down, and like I'm actually attracting the worst thing possible in my life. And so in those moments when she was like having to go to the emergency room, like I would want to believe that she was going to be okay and everything was going to be fine, but I was like, she got sick out of nowhere. She's literally throwing up blood. Like, if that can happen in a moment's notice, like, what's to say me believing something good won't trigger something bad to happen, you know? And those were always coincidentally at times where, like, I feel like I was getting better and, like, I was working through my anxiety, like, my life was going okay, like, I wouldn't have to deal with something that was gonna, like, shock me and send me backward, you know? And in those kinds of moments, I would just kind of, like, honestly just fall back because I couldn't, like, sit with myself long enough to, like, really feel safe with the thought or the feeling that, like, everything would turn out okay if I believed it to be. I always felt like that I would ruin things. And that's a really tough belief to have about yourself. I can't really remember why I started feeling like I was a jinx or when that happened. Most likely in early childhood. But it's been with me so long, and it's like a, you know how people talk about core memories? That's legitimately like a core belief of mine. Like, if I had to, like, strip myself down to, like, one or two beliefs, that I think would be one of them. And I really, really, really wish it wasn't, because I don't want to believe I'm a jinx, you know? But I feel like scientific evidence has, like, proven to me that that is what happens every time I assume good things are going to happen in my life. And I know that, like, it deals with, like, a lot of my mental illnesses and, like, the stuff I've been through, you know? I think it's just hard to figure out what the hell you're gonna do to get through that or to get rid of that, you know? Like I said, I've been struggling for the last couple of weeks. I feel like I'm going through, like, a major shift, a major change in my life. Something I can't really foresee or foretell right now. And I'm just having to, like, really sit down, believe, trust the process. And that feeling, that fear keeps coming back up again and again and again. I'm like, I really want to believe everything's going to be okay. And even if, like, it doesn't turn out the way I hoped, or I'm not elated with joy and, like, my life isn't, like, picture pristine perfect and, like, everything falls into place, like, I want to at least be at a place where I feel detached from the outcome and I can just enjoy life for what it is and just, like, you know, enjoy the ride, go with the flow type of feeling, you know, not feel affected or triggered by anything. But I feel like I don't know, I'm coming up against a wall. I just keep feeling like I'm gonna think everything's gonna turn out okay, and then the universe is gonna send another lesson into my life. Like, gotcha, bitch. Like, you have more healing to do. You have more to learn. Like, you thought you were gonna get something good? Actually, here's another test. Like, study up, do better, know more. And maybe that itself, not even maybe, that probably is another bad limiting belief that I have, that, like, I'm just being pushed to work really hard and I'm being tested beyond compare on really just living my life. It's so wild to think of it right now. But, like, I always feel like my life has just been one giant test, you know? Like, there are always many quizzes and surprise essays and fucking tell me how much you know, prove it to me right now kind of feelings in my life where I constantly have to prove how good of a person I am. Where is my morality? How hard am I working? And I know that comes from childhood too, that I constantly have to prove that I deserve things, or, like, I constantly have to work for even the most basic bare bones shit. I think it just feels so odd because there's a very clear-headed side of me that's like, this shit means nothing. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. Like, I don't need to be fucking around with so much of this drama anymore where I just constantly feel like I don't measure up or like I don't mean anything, you know? But at the same time, that like inner child part of me is like so terrified that like if I listen to myself and I believe myself, that like I'll be punished for it. To all those things, to all those beliefs, a really big fuck you. I'm none of those things, dude. I'm not. I don't have to fucking prove myself. I don't want to feel bad for just wanting to chill and be happy and have a good life. I don't want to feel bad for wanting to believe in good things. I'm not a jinx. Why do I feel like a goddamn jinx? If anything, I make people's lives brighter, better. And that's the truth. That's on God. That's on God, okay? Because let's be real, if I wasn't here, I think shit would look a lot different. A lot different. And I'm just saying that from all of my collective personal experiences. My presence has mattered a lot, whether or not people want to admit that, give credit to that, acknowledge that, give praise to that. I've taken a lot of bullets for a lot of people, and I've bandaged up a lot of shit. And maybe that sounds entitled, a little grandiose. I don't know, dude. I feel like if you were me, you would understand, dude. Maybe in your own lives, maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit that like you have done a lot of good work, that you have worked really hard, that you are a good, decent, loving, and lovable person. I was talking about sobriety. I forgot I got off the train of that. But yeah, no, I've been really anxious for a really long time. And weed really helped me bring that to light and understand more of myself and see my complex nature and how anxiety kind of tangles its way and all of that. And like from 2022 to like June of 2024, I wasn't smoking like every day, but I definitely felt like I couldn't go without weed. Like it was a dependence I had, you know? I wouldn't personally describe it as addiction. I think dependence is a much better word because like, and maybe those things are one and the same. I'm not knocking either because I understand, but I feel like to me in my head, addiction is like if suddenly tomorrow you woke up and your life was literally picture perfect, everything you always wanted, everything you had, like no like reason to need a drug, you would still be addicted because that's what addiction is. It's like your brain is now hooked chemically on whatever it is you've been consuming, you know? Whereas like dependence is like if my life was like perfect and I did not, you know, have any major instabilities in my life that were giving me so much anxiety, I wouldn't do weed anymore. I would not smoke it anymore. And that's how I feel. That's why I feel like I was always more dependent than addicted on it. And just because of like all the challenges and the stuff that I was going through in life and the fact that I felt like I don't really have anyone to turn to, that I was always like, I just need a joint, I need to smoke, and I need to feel better. And so in July, as I was like trying to like cut back a little bit and be like, oh, we're gonna smoke every week instead of however frequently, that 1 week became 2 weeks, and I hit 2 weeks of sobriety for the first time. I think, I want to say at least 7 months. I want to say. I could be wrong. It could be longer than that, but I definitely hadn't hit 2 weeks of sobriety in a while. So I was really proud of myself. And then I was like, we can keep going. We can keep pushing it. And then I hit 3 weeks. And then I hit 4. And I was like, for the first time in literally like 3 years, I went a whole month without smoking weed. And that's a big deal to me. I was going through a lot, still really anxious, still really fucking tired of all the mess in my life. But I did not fall back on weed as a coping mechanism. And then of course I was like, you know what, I hit 4 weeks, so I'm gonna celebrate my sobriety with a joint. And then I like barely, I don't know if it was just like the joint itself. I don't know if I was just smoking ash. So I didn't really get much. So I didn't feel anything. I was like, okay, I clearly, like, there was nothing that happened, you know? And so to me, I'm still going to take that as 4 weeks of sobriety because, like, I have to feel something for it to mean something, you know? And then a couple days after that, I did it again. Mainly because I was just trying to listen to my intuition. And I don't know, I needed to like satisfy that curiosity. You know? I was like, I wanted to hit a month. I hit a month. I'm really proud of myself. I don't want to have to push myself and overdo it and feel like I can't ever smoke weed again or never have fun on it or never feel good, you know? So I was like, I'm just going to smoke. And so I did it. And I still didn't feel very high. Again, I think it's just the pre-roll. I think that one was a little dried out, a little busted up. But I did feel a bit more. And I realized that, like, I didn't really even want to smoke that much. Like, I'm glad I did it because I know, you know? But I feel like I needed to have that moment to remember, you know? Because I remember, like, I had tried this a while ago. It was like 2022, maybe 2021, somewhere in there, where I had actually gone a month sober, and I was really proud of myself then. But because of all the anxieties and you know how much I liked smoking weed back then, after a month, it was like really easy for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna just go back to smoking. And especially when I hit it again after all that time, it still felt the same. It was like, oh, I really missed weed. I missed how it felt, which is why I couldn't reach a month of sobriety after that. But this time around, I actually didn't feel so bad. I was like, it's nothing special. Like, I could do this every once in a while, but I don't need to do it as much as I have done it in the past. And I feel like that was a really important breakthrough for me, for being able to reach that point where, like, I just didn't need something else to excite me like that, you know, or to calm me down, or like a thing to curb my anxiety. Because as much as it did help and it brought all that stuff to my awareness and like it was there when I needed it, which I'm not knocking it, like for me in my personal experience, knowing myself and how far I wanted to go or how much I needed was really important for me. Like, I never tried to shame myself for it. I want to say I never did. Because, like, to me, I was like, I'm not gonna feel bad about smoking weed, you know? I'm just not gonna feel bad about it. Like, if I need the joint, I need the joint. Like, it is what it is. I know with me and what I'm going through, like, if there was another way, I would do it. But, like, I never wanted to, like, beat myself down for what I needed from weed. And I always felt very, like, in tune with it, or like I wanted to be very respectful of the drug, which is what I feel like you should do with any drug that you take ever. I don't want to say no like 100% I know, but like my understanding of it is that like indigenous cultures believe that and they promote that that's what you should do when you associate yourself with a drug. Like, they are there to teach you. It comes from Mother Earth. All it's trying to do is give to you, so you should be respectful and show your respect to the drug that you're taking. I feel like having that mindset and having that outlook towards drugs and drug use, recreationally or not, like, really helps with the experience and the process of it. And it made my journey with it, I feel like, 10 times better. You know what I mean? I have had bad highs in my life. I want to say at least 5 or so times, you know? But I noticed that, like, giving respect to the drug, knowing myself, and not pushing myself any further, just because, like, I wanted to impress the voices in my head, or, like, people would be like, oh, you need to do a lot of weed to be really cool, or, like, oh my god, where you can't smoke, you can't hang, like, you know, just, like, listening to myself and not giving a fuck about that really is what I enjoyed about smoking weed the most. And in a way, that's kind of what I'm gonna miss about it as that chapter comes to a close. I really am grateful for the time that I spent getting high and smoking as much as I did. I was happy to be a pothead and a stoner for as long as I was, and I don't think I'll necessarily cut it out of my life. I do still love weed a lot. But for me, now I'm understanding that it's just like not something I want to do all of the time. I think every couple of weeks is really good, you know, every maybe couple of months if I can do with that. I feel like I finally reached a place where like I just feel that I can understand that whatever weed had to teach me, whatever weed had to really offer me, and that sort of like help yourself heal yourself type of growth, it has given me and it has offered me. So I really am grateful to weed, to Mother Cannabis, for what she has given me and shown me. And I don't want to reach in my weed drawer, don't want to pull out a pre-roll every time I feel nervous about the future or anxious about different things and different people and new experiences. Like I just want to be able to find a different way to cope with it and deal with it, and like rely on myself and trust myself more. But I was having a hard time. It's hard when you're doing shit all on your own. It's really hard to not depend on things, not to get addicted to things, not to be in toxic or unhealthy or less than ideal situations, you know? Because it's essentially, I feel like it's the most human thing to need someone else, to want to be a part of a group, of a collective larger than yourself. You want to be one little piece in the puzzle of other puzzle pieces. Like it's just, I feel like that is the most human feeling on the planet. And I always feel really sad when I myself can't feel that way, you know? That's where I feel like I've been at for the last couple of weeks, and it's been hard for me to turn this camera on, plug this mic in, and talk about it because I just feel like I'm throwing myself a pity party, and I'm being sad, and nobody's gonna want to watch a sad bitch on the internet, or like I can't speak about things that are hard, you know? And it's just been so hard, dude, because I genuinely don't feel like I have anybody to lean on, anybody to rely on. It's just me out here. In terms of another human being, I feel honestly completely alone on the planet, and it makes me really sad. And so trying to figure out where this major shift, where this major change is going to lead me has been stressing me out because I'm terrified I'm going to continue to feel absolutely dog shit alone. I don't want to feel that way anymore. I don't want to feel that way anymore. And I can't control that feeling. I can't even control where my life is taking me, what it looks like, to even know that, you know, I'm going to have someone, or I'm going to be able to lean on someone, or like life is going to be less lonely. I'm going to be better. Like, I don't know that. And having to fully trust that things are going to be okay, it feels so hard. Because what if at the very moment I decide to believe in myself, that I jinx everything, and like I just got my hopes up and it all meant nothing, and I should have known better. Liking yourself really is like half the ordeal. Like sorry. It really helps for any of you that might need it, if you can give time and attention to that. And it's not to negate or take away from the fact that you are a human being and you need other human beings in your life. Not even need, you know, there are certain people who can go without that, you know. If you don't need that, you don't want that, that's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? Send me your tips, girl. I'm really trying. But like, for those of you that do want that do need that, like, it's such a valid feeling. And my heart goes out to you because I know how hard that is to just keep going, being surrounded by a planet full of people, and you feel like not one single soul is there for you. I'm trying to wrap this up, not even like to end the video, just to like put these thoughts cohesively together, because I'm still trying to convince myself that I can believe in good things and not feel like a jinx. But I feel like I'm rushing myself. I feel like I'm pushing myself. I feel like I'm going to get there, but maybe I can't get there right now or today or tomorrow like I would like to, you know? That maybe this is the best I can give. This is all I can give right now. And the universe has got to take it or leave it, girl. Gotta take it or leave it. Deal or no deal. Deal or no motherfucking deal. I can't give more than this right now. The fact that I'm here, the fact that I'm still pushing, the fact that I'm still trying, the fact that I'm still able to find the good things in little moments, like gonna play with my dog and give the little pet pets and give her little kisses, and getting to actually sit up on this camera and talk to you guys and feel good about it. Because before I decided to make this video, I was actually getting sad. Like, I literally was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I hit record. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be the biggest bummer and I'm not gonna have anything to say. But like, I'm glad that I did. And my dog, she like knew what was up. She came to see me, and like that in and of itself made me feel so good. Like, the universe saw me and she was like, girl, we got you. Bring in the dog. My dog came and she's like, girl, I got you. Give me your attention. And it was, you know, just like that one little moment. And I know that like maybe in the next hour it might be hard for me to feel the same way, or tomorrow maybe, you know. I'm just trying to go through every day, taking one step at a time. And even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, I'm trying to be really positive. I really am. For 5 consistent minutes, I'm trying to be like, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. I believe in myself. And I think that means a lot, especially because I'm doing it sober. I'm breaking ties, I'm breaking cycles, I am moving through life, and I'm shifting, I'm changing for the better. And so, as someone who has a really hard time with change and has a really hard time adapting to things, because change always feels very unstable to me. It shouldn't, but it does. I have a hard time adapting to the flow of change, and I always feel like one little change brings in a lot of other changes, and like before I know it, I lose my footing and my whole world becomes unstable. And so that's why I hate having to change. But I really want to just say that I'm really proud of myself for being able to do this and coming out of this not feeling like I need to depend on things just because they're safe and familiar. Hi everyone, this is part 2 to the last video. I wanted to take some time to explore this concept a little bit further before I uploaded the video in full. But it's kind of hard, because I feel like my thoughts are like really jumbled up and they are all over the place. And so I'm having a hard time bringing things together. You know what I mean? It's kind of just a lot of ideas in a lot of different places, and I'm having a hard time tying things together. And I know that I really don't give a fuck about making sure everything really flies in with one another. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just speaking. I'm literally just letting no thoughts in my head, just like letting stuff come out right now, because I'm trying to filter out all of this like mess. I feel like that's in my head right now. Like, I feel like I'm in a mental rut, and I don't really know why, because I feel like I'm trying my best to just like not have it be a mess. I don't know, you know. I'm not even trying to like sit down and like chronologically order shit or alphabetically order everything in my head and arrange it from like, you know, A to Z, A to Y, whatever the fuck. But for some reason, like, it's just like it's not happening, or the process of everything in my brain collectively coming together to make sense to me is taking a long time. And I guess that makes sense because, like I said, I am in the process of taking a bit of a tolerance break, a bit of a tea break, and just going sober, not smoking weed for a little bit, And obviously, like, because I've been doing it for so long, there is bound to be some brain fog and some mental uh, effects that take a bit of time to catch up to getting back to normal and stuff. And maybe that's like, I'm not like giving that credit fully, because I feel pretty normal functioning, to be honest. But at the same time, like, I don't really know if normal functioning means the same thing to me that it does to anyone else, or if it does to like a scientifically proven sort of like normal state, normal mental state, if that makes sense. Because I've been high functioning my entire life, regardless of, you know, the trauma, the mental, I was gonna say mental awareness. I guess in a way it is mental awareness. Mental awareness, the mental disorders, mental illnesses, my intellectual disabilities. Like, it's, you know, I've been always trying to play it off as like, I'm fine, everything's good. So high functioning has been my reality for some time. And so maybe it doesn't click or occur to me that like I need to like understand my level of normal is a little different, or what my level of normal would look like or something, you know. But anyway, part 2 of me sobering up. It is a bit of a slump, where I'm like, I really am going through the highs and lows of life. Kind of was using weed as a crutch, as a coping mechanism for my anxiety. And there, you know, been a lot of things that have been fueling my anxiety, as well as the anxiety also being like a chemical inefficiency sort of problem. But like, one of the reasons that I was using weed as a crutch for my anxiety was this anxious feeling that I always had of being a jinx that I mentioned as well. And I was trying to, in the last couple of weeks, I don't even, when I say couple of weeks, I mean so many different things. Sometimes I mean couple of weeks as in like 5 to 6 weeks, and sometimes it's literally just like 10 days. So I have to like, I think, use more specific terms. But in the last like 10 to 12 days, I've been trying to figure out what that really means to me and why I really feel that way. Because I just wanted to like figure out like the pipeline of like blank to I'm a jinx my entire life pipeline. So I was trying to fill in that blank and figure that out. I got a little bit triggered, and it made me want to take a step back, because like I felt like I couldn't process it, and it was really hard, and it was making me emotional to the point that like I felt frozen, and it was just hard to like feel like I could talk about this subject or want to bring this sort of idea to a close, at least for now, because I don't know, the whole thing still feels really unfinished, but I'm trying to do my best to just create and let all my videos just be unfinished pieces of work, pieces of art, and hopefully down the line, somewhere in the future, it'll make sense. But yeah, it was hard for a second. I really felt like I didn't want to do this whole thing. I kind of wanted to step back and step out and like not make a video at all today, which I knew was gonna bum me out, you know. It is kind of me beating around the bush about this feeling, because like it's so, I feel like, surreal to like explain in a way. As someone who has been through quite literally the most unimaginable things, it's so hard for me to like put into words how difficult these feelings are, how deep these feelings and these beliefs really go. Especially because I don't fully feel like I want to talk about what this really stems from right now, you know? I keep thinking that like in order to be real and authentic and genuine on this channel like I really want to be, I have to start opening up about some of the really hard to open up things. Start to open up about the really hard to open up about things. But like I just don't know. It's just so heavy, not only for me to recount and like re-experience, but to also just tell a bunch of strangers on the internet, it makes me feel worried, and it feels like a lot. It feels like a lot that I'm not ready to go through yet. Or if I am, I'm taking very tiny baby steps to do so, which is like this right now, which is me recording a video after I felt like I didn't want to do this. If I try to generalize it, right, and if I don't try not to push myself to talk about things that are a little too uncomfortable at the moment, I was basically like in hell. Like if you could literally imagine a hell for yourself, that's where I was as a child. And I always felt like I was a different person than the people I was around. I always felt like there was this sort of like magic to myself, or this sense of authenticity is the word that wants to come out. This sense of like authentic power, where like I'm standing in myself, I'm being myself, I'm doing what I feel called to do, and I'm living my life as such, that I felt like jealous, evil-hearted, mean-spirited people around me coveted about me. And so I felt preyed upon in that way, if we speak about just like general energies and vibes. And I was made to feel broken down, or like I was broken down so that I could feel like I didn't have any power to me. I didn't have anything to me, you know? I always forget. I need to put the mic up here. I don't know. I need to really like. And as a kid who's around adults who want to make it their mission for whatever reason to beat down on people smaller than them so that they can feel better and bigger about themselves. It was like a game of control, really. And it was almost like I was guaranteed to lose. I was guaranteed to have to put up a fight. Because the adults in my world had more control and more say in things than I did. Regardless of how empowered I felt or how strong I felt in my own authentic power, like it was almost like no match, because the adults could just walk around and say and do and control whatever they wanted to, because I was literally just existing in their world, you know? I feel like I was just a pawn in their game. And so, in a way, if I am making any sense to anybody, there were a lot of times where I was trying to regain my personal sense of power and my own sense of agency. Like, this is my life. I can still do something with it, or I can still feel like myself. I can still have some say in what I do and in what I choose to do or what I choose to believe, that kind of thing. I would, try to do things, or try to want things, try to, I guess, speak things into existence in hopes that, like, I could get myself out of hell or turn hell into heaven, sort of thing. But again, I was constantly beat down, broken down. And those types of situations, events, scenarios made me believe that all I really do is jinx things, because every time I think something good was going to happen, or I think I could get through it, or I think I'd get out of it, whoever had more control and more agency than I did would use their power to break me down and make sure that I did not have any place in believing that, any place in feeling like myself and feeling authentic. And so over time, I would kind of just become prone to believing negative sorts of things, because it was a lot easier to believe in something bad because bad was all around me anyway, instead of like calling out for good and then watching my hopes and dreams kind of get crushed in real time. And so essentially someone else's malicious actions and intentions fucked with my personal sense of self, my personal power, my belief in good things and being able to call good towards me, you know? And essentially I felt like I was bad luck. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I feel like being sober and having to battle this belief of like, I am bad luck, or I have always been bad luck, is hard for me. It's hard. It's hard. I don't know. I wish I could explain it better than that. It's a really unsettling feeling. And I feel like I'm afraid of the all too real feeling that, like, maybe that's true. Even though I know it's not. But because I've lived through that feeling once, I'm having a hard time breaking it off from me right now. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that adds anything to the first part of this video. I just wanted to take some time to break that down for me to really realize why I was saying that and why I felt that way. And so it paints a clearer picture for me in my head, you know, which is the best thing I could do for myself, and hope that you guys can sort of pick apart what I'm saying, if that makes sense to you in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. But it's been hard for me to kind of defeat that demon that's been living in my head. I've been using multiple different coping mechanisms, coping strategies to get around the fact that I feel like I am just someone who brings doom and downfall to people around me, to the people that I love, to myself. And so I was just using substances or distractions or obsessions or whatever to distract myself from the fact that I always feel like my purpose on earth is like to bring bad things and hard times to the people I care about. And I guess it just means a lot to me to come to a place where I feel like I can do and deal with being sober and not needing to depend on whatever I've been depending on so far. And to feel like I can come to these realizations and support myself and love myself through all of the healing that needs to be done, and the hardship that I feel when addressing these situations and realities and stuff. It just means a lot to me, because I feel like it shows a certain amount of strength, a certain level of character that I have achieved, and accumulated thus far in growing and becoming someone new. It's been hard to overcome a lot of things in my life. I know this is technically, it's just another thing in a long list of them. But sometimes, it shocks me and surprises me how hard some of these feelings really are to feel, and how deep these things go, and how much I want to avoid them, or how helpless I feel, and the fact that I feel like I can't change how I used to feel about myself. Like right now I just feel like upset, like so angry, and like almost so stuck in myself that I want to like get up and do something that like proves it wrong and changes the whole thing, and it, I don't know, changes the whole dynamic to the point where I never feel like that, or I can undo all of the past pains and hurts that I've felt because of this belief. And it bums me out that I can't really do anything to like go back and change that, or go back and fix that, or I don't know, make it different somehow. That all I can do right now is sit with myself and go through it. I know that's a big step. I know that's really important. And again, it's another thing I'm really proud of myself for doing. I don't know, it's hard. It's hard to deal with it. I feel like one of the things I'm learning about and rebuilding my self-esteem and my self-confidence and my sense of self-worth is that I feel so angry at all the ways I was always mistreated, big or small, whether it was like a long time ago or just recently. Like I always feel really mad that like people have upset me and hurt me and disappointed me. Like, who the fuck are you to do that to me, really? And a lot of it is like that's just life shit. Some of them you grow from, you heal from, you use them to learn from, things like that. But some of them are truly like genuinely like I was like genuinely like, why the fuck did I have to go through that? Why the fuck did I have to deal with these type of people? Why was I ever in and around any of these situations? Like, I didn't deserve that. It makes me want to vindicate myself. I feel pissed. And pissed about the fact that I can't do anything, really. All I can do is what I can do right now. And sometimes that doesn't feel like enough to me. Enough to bring justice to myself. Enough to justify any of the shit that I ever went through and any of the healing I've ever had to do. What has not killed me has made me stronger, but it's just, I don't know, sometimes I get mad that like all this truly cruel shit happened to me. But anyway, not harping on any of that. It was just good and nice to come to that conclusion of like, that's why I felt like I was a jinx, and that's why I felt like I was bad luck, or this is what has made me feel so uneasy for some time now. And like I said, just really proud of myself to be able to do all this and do it sober. And that's not to say that like I'd be less proud of myself if I wasn't sober, or like I'm not proud of myself if I slip up and relapse or go back to a bad habit or two. I just mean that like I know that like there's a version of me that's had to go through this while still rolling up a joint every now and again, because that was the only way I could get through it. I feel like it makes me happy for me that I feel like I've found some more strength in not having to feel that way anymore. Or at least right now, because you never know. But thinking about how helpless I used to feel to those feelings and those thoughts, and feeling like I needed to replace those with caffeine or cannabis or masking and throwing on a fake forfeited version of myself just to please other people and keep other people around me. Like, I don't know. I'm doing it for that version of me. To show her that I can. Show her that I could. That we always could. That it's never been a testament of my strength. That has never been something I needed to doubt about myself. Even though I have doubted many things about myself, my strength is not one of them. And so, despite how hard things have been, I'm at a place where I'm raw dogging reality and doing it sober. So that makes me feel like I've accomplished something in some way to myself. I don't know. I keep wanting to say it better because I'm not trying to knock anyone who is using or having a hard time letting bad, addictive, negative habits go. I know what that's like. And I just think it feels like a real sense of accomplishment to feel like you're taking a different step for yourself. I don't know. I don't know if that helps, guys. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I said in the first part, it's not like I have completely cut weed out of my life. It's more so that I've reshaped my relationship to it. And I feel like that as well requires some strength and is something I should be happy about and proud of, which I am, because I can completely understand how anyone else or how maybe a different version of me might feel the need to completely X out of my life and get rid of it and never go back to it. That or anything else that I have ever used or depended or that has negatively affected my life in the past. But for me, I feel really good that like I can maybe at some point want to smoke weed again or ask something of it in some way and not feel like I'm going to go back to that habit of I need to have this every day or I need this to fix something about me or something in my life, or I'm feeling anxious again, I have to go back to smoking weed, like that type of feeling. Now it's more so like at least again like right now, because things can change, but I feel like I have been dealing with anxieties in my life. Whether or not any past, present, future version of myself would feel like that is something I would smoke up for or not, I'm just glad that I haven't been, I feel like there were so many times where I could have easily just been like, oh, I feel even a little bit anxious, or I feel worried about taking this new step and branching out. Oh, I feel worried about joining this new class or learning this new thing or trying this new thing. I'm going to smoke up just to deal with that anxiety, that worry, that feeling of uncertainty. I feel like I have really been in a really uncertain space of my life, and uncertainty, again, I don't know if I mentioned that before because I'm having a hard time recalling, but uncertainty is something I've had a very hard time dealing with before. It stresses me out, makes me very uncomfortable. Change is not something I work well with usually, but regardless of the fact that I feel like I'm in a very uncertain place in my life, I haven't been smoking weed to combat that feeling. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling. Maybe I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I don't know. I guess in a certain way that is also helpful to just affirm and reaffirm some things that I need to say for myself. For any of you guys who might need that advice, it's good too. It is helpful to say what is good about your life or what has been working well, or, you know, reaffirm your strengths to yourself, just so you can hear it for yourself a good few times over and over again. Because I don't know if everybody gets that enough or not, you know. Me personally, I don't feel like I ever heard good things about me enough times to really believe them. So saying it to myself again and again, I guess, must, on at least a subconscious level, be working for me to be like, yeah, I'm doing something good, or I'm changing, I'm healing, or like, you know, I am a good person, I am good luck, and I'm not a jinx. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say for this long-winded video. Yeah, man, I don't know. That's all I wanted to fucking say about it, dude. I don't know. Took me some time to get there, but we got there, I think. I feel a lot better. And I'm glad, girl, that we are vibing and feeling better. I also wanted to give a quick shout out because I just remembered. I hit 1 year on YouTube a couple of days ago, which is really meaningful for me. To be quite honest, I never thought I would do this YouTube thing for so long. I remember when Grayscale was just like an audio only podcast, it was a lot harder for me, and I was having a hard time keeping up with regular uploads or even just wanting to create stuff. But for YouTube Grayscale, I have had a lot of fun, and I've looked forward to a lot of the things that I've been doing on this channel so far, and a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing in the future. So it just makes me really happy that I've stuck with Grayscale and that I've been able to enjoy it so far. So that means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much for all those of you that have been watching, that have arrived, and I just wanted to celebrate that little occasion, that little milestone, because it means a lot to me. And yeah, I'm just really happy and glad and grateful that it's been a good year, and that I've been having fun. So yeah, I guess that's all. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.